know why. It's so funny to me every time.
You're so excited.
Hello, Sarah.
Are you ready?
I am ready. Episode 485. What do you got for me?
485, the episode in which Sarah goes ham about her mother effing apartment complex.
All right.
Look, and you know what? I'm in such talk to
the manager.
Talk to the manager voice
Karen.
like that. Oh my God, I wasn't even going to go down that road. I try to not be a Karen, but I was going to say I'm censoring my speech. I'm saying effing because I was trying so hard not to curse, and so
Okay, so basically,
Yes.
last time we discussed your continuing saga.
yes,
Your apartment again had flooded, and it was just getting ridiculous. The same,
ridiculous.
coming from the ceiling, I think, or
Coming from the
furnace?
ceiling. Now I go back and I start doing some research of how many times, because now this is this is insane.
Yeah.
There's another leak on the 23rd of December. It wasn't until January 9th that we finally had people replace the carpet. But let me break down how that went. This has been the most night. It turns out there 4 times, and people who are regular listeners of the show are probably like, yeah, I know it's 4 times because I've been
They're probably
counting.
didn't I hear this episode before? No.
Didn't I hear this? Nope, this is a new one. So Ren and I are all we're looking to do is get out of this lease. Mind you,
That's all.
we have 2 months left in our lease. That's it.
Yeah.
2 months. That's it. So now this situation, because they have not taken care of it for so long, has turned into a nightmare of a problem. So I don't want a bunch of people in and out of my apartment because we're in the middle of a pandemic. So I tell them, the thing that we really need, most important, is to get the carpet replaced. Let's do order of operations here. It smells like mildew. Let's get the carpet replaced.
Yeah,
it's been
it's
way too long.
toxic.
It's toxic. So we have the whole thing to get the carpet replaced scheduled for Tuesday. Me having the appointments that I do and working from home, Ren too, we clear our schedule on Tuesday. Tuesday morning, I still haven't heard anything. And I go, hey, are we going to do this? And they go, oh, you know what? We needed to get a new carpet company and they need you to sign a paper. So we're not going to be able to do it. We're going to do it Friday. Oh, what the actual fuck? Okay, fine.
Okay, so they're rearranging.
Yes.
Very inconsiderate.
Super. I mean, I'm like,
Okay.
what do you think? I just we have the free time. So then, and they told me we had agreed we're just going to replace a section of it. Now it'd take about 2 hours. Okay, that I can do on Friday. And also, mind you, anybody who rents an apartment or, rents from anybody knows that a landlord needs to give you 24 hours notice before they enter the apartment.
That's right, yes.
The law. And,
Yes.
and so I go downstairs at 4:00 on Thursday evening and I go, hey, haven't heard anything. Are you guys still planning on doing this on Friday? Oh, yes, we are. And then I go, oh, and so it's just the patch job, right? And they go, oh, no, we want to replace the whole carpet. I'm like, wait a sec. It's 4:00. You want to come at 11 a.m. tomorrow. We have the rest of the evening of work, and I work in the evenings, and you want me to move an entire office, take down bookshelves that are, connected to the floor.
Right,
to,
that's your problem.
And you want me to move it where? Where do you put an entire office in a teeny tiny 900 square foot?
What did they say to that?
They didn't even give me a response.
Oh.
They didn't even, they just...
They thought it was rhetorical.
Yeah, they really did. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm trying so hard. I use all of my communication skills. You guys are hearing fired up Sarah, but I am I'm
Do
not
an impression
yelling.
of yourself.
Oh, okay. So, well, first of all, I'm very aware of body language and how I position myself. So I make sure that when I'm talking to them down in the leasing office, I sit on the couch and then they stand over me because I want them to know that I'm not being aggressive and I'm not being hostile in this. I am here to work with them and here to let me just. So I'm more. It's more of a, I really need you to understand my frustration in this.
Oh my God.
It is really do you see how that is a complete that's so inconsiderate of our time? And so I get that. And
I never want to be on the receiving end
no,
of
you
your communication skills.
You don't. Not that. No, not like that. I mean, it's good. It's good if I'm not, because I have to maintain composure to and be able to communicate clearly and not use any of the things that then let people go, oh, well, she's being hysterical.
Right. You can't become the problem.
I can't become the problem. So I have to do everything in my power to like chill the F out.
I mean, that's really good advice even for marital fighting.
Yes,
I always find that's a great tool. If the other one loses their shit, then they're the problem, no matter even if I did the worst thing ever.
Yeah, so just keep your composure and never. Right. But that does backfire, because when I try to do that, it's like, you're not like. It's almost even more frustrating because they think you're being like. It's like
sociopathic.
Yes. What's wrong with you? You're I'm just. I'm not going to get to that level.
Right
this
now.
is where I am. Mm-hmm.
Okay, go on.
So they get a lot of that. So then. So I, at this point, I'm like, I just got to get this freaking carpet taken care of. So I said, no, we're not moving all that. You guys are going to do the patch job as you guys, promised. And then at another time when we can move all the office shit out and not completely have it. What do you want me to do? Be up till 4 o'clock in the morning doing this?
Yeah.
What
right.
on earth? I just
off.
couldn't understand. I was like, help me understand how you saw this going down.
Help me help you.
That's exactly what I do. I totally used that line today. So then the carpet guy comes, and the carpet guy, mind you, this is the day after all the shit went down at the Capitol. So like tensions are already, like everybody's like stressed as a motherfucker.
Sure.
And this guy comes in, and this guy's cool. He's like talking to us. He's like, wow, shit was crazy. Yeah, yep. We're like talking, we're cool. And then I'm telling him about all these problems that we're having. And he's like, man, that is awful. That shit, like I used to be a property manager, and you guys got a serious case here. And then he looks at the wood and he goes, first, before even that, there's more. This is the best. This is the best part. So he goes in to go. He walks in and he goes to like rip out the carpet, and he looks at me and goes, the manager ordered the wrong color carpet, right? I'm like, what do you mean? And he goes, yeah, I have brown carpet to install, and your carpet's gray, and they told me that it was brown.
Oh no.
And then he goes, well, I got gray carpet back at my at the store, wherever it is. And if you want, I don't know, whatever, hold carpet. And the carpet warehouse. I don't know, it's getting funnier in my head, imagining where. Rug Palace, yes. Wherever it is. And so he's like, I got it back there, if you want. And I was like, oh, God. And so he goes down and talks to the manager, and I don't see any of this. Then the guy comes back up. He goes, he told me to just install it. Okay, fine. So then I talked to the manager later that afternoon, and he goes, I'm going down there to get my mail. Now, nobody's followed up with me. Nobody's been like, hey, how'd it go? Hey, do we need to do anything else? Hey,
okay.
they get the right color? And so I go, they're like, and I walk by in the mailroom, and I go, how'd everything go? And I'm like, well, not great, because now I got a patchwork carpet, and their response, I shit you not, well, that's what you get for choosing the patch job. What are you saying to me? That's my fault? This is my fault? Okay, great. So now I'm like, now we're done. I'm taking this so far up the ladder. You know what I did? I never do this. You know that what I did. I went on Twitter.
I didn't know you did anything on Twitter.
I did. I went to, because I was like, I am so freaking done. And I was like, the people I looked up on LinkedIn who the CEO is.
Oh, no.
I got his name. And listen, Mr. Big Shot, you only have 1,700 followers, so you're not that great.
Big Shot.
He's he's totally like a 30-something-year-old, he's basically
bro.
Wes. It's Wes is the owner of the, yes! Damn! I just figured out who I'm dealing with. I have Wes I'm working. He's like doing articles about growing his business, and despite this. Yep. And what he's done is he's bought up like housing places that are like going to shit for super cheap, where they didn't want to do any work, and then he's screwing people over.
Oh my God.
So he's like a slumlord.
Well,
I bet he does. I hope I don't get defamation of character. I have not said his
First of
name.
all-
I said he's like, I have nothing to... Well, no, I do have things to prove this.
He's like, all right, wait. Let's take a moment for...
Yes.
'cause I don't have a segue,
I need a breather.
but that was awesome. I do want to talk about... You're going through some shit. I want to talk about my cat's shit because...
Yes.
I got Kitty Poo Club on the go in this house for Mr. Meowgie, my cat. I'm super excited. So, Sarah's a dog owner. I'm a cat owner.
But I am a cat babysitter.
Yes. And
I'm a cat nanny.
Cat caretaker.
Yes.
They are pretty much super easy to deal with, except for the litter box. That's like the only bad thing about owning a cat. You got to scoop it out. You got to like replace it, clean out the pan all the time. And it's a huge pain in the butt, so to speak. And Kitty Poo Club delivers affordable, high-quality, recyclable litter box.
I love that.
To your door every month, pre-filled with the litter of your choice. You just put the box down. And I was worried. I thought, oh, great, my cat's not going to go for it. And they're real finicky.
Yep.
She took to it like a cat to a litter box.
That should be an expression. I'm pretty sure it is.
It was perfect. There was no problem. And I just really like that you can just recycle it and you get another one next month. You don't have to do all the cleaning and all the crap that you normally have to. You can customize your order based on how many cats you have and what type of litter you prefer and all that. No risk guarantee as well, so you can try it and cancel anytime. You guys, if you have a cat, you need this. Give yourself the gift that keeps on giving the whole year, a Kitty Poo Club subscription. Right now, Kitty Poo Club is offering you 20% off your first order when you get an auto ship by going to kittypooclub.com and entering promo code BrainCandy. Just go to kittypooclub.com and enter promo code BrainCandy to get 20% off when you set up auto ship. That's kittypooclub.com, and don't forget to enter promo code BrainCandy at checkout. I love it.
Yes,
okay.
I have Bo's food set up on auto ship, and it is the best. I couldn't imagine
Right.
how easy
It's
it
one
would
less
be with
thing
cat
to
litter.
worry
Yes,
about.
I love not worrying about that.
I
Too much
love-
stuff to worry about. Like my own apartment.
I love that we realized who your landlord is or who your
Right? That is,
whatever
and
is.
I should send you his photo. I should show you, like, if you go on my Twitter and you click his picture, you'll be like, oh. He definitely owns a think tank, like for sure. So what he
Did
was...
he respond to you?
No,
on
but
Twitter?
What happened is I posted that on Twitter. The next day, all of the issues that I had, we got a message to, like, attention all residents, like,
No.
Yep, about the issues that I brought up. I'm like, okay, I see what works. Now, you
Wait,
mess with
what
the
did
bull,
your
you get
tweet
harmed.
say?
Oh, I'm going to go look. It said, it was so good. I was like, what? WWSD is just, what would Susie do? And, I just kept thinking about, like, all these stories that I told on here and everything, and how, every single time I share these stories, you guys are all like, oh my God, you should sue.
That's what I've said for months
A
now.
million times.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I can't seem to get the attention of the employees at Common, so I'll go straight to the top. At B. Hargraves, your apartments are disgusting and no one is doing a damn thing about it. And you guys want to call this luxury living? And charge a premium. And so then I put up 4 photos that have descriptions in them, like water damage from the leaks that were never repaired, water damage from the leaks in the upstairs unit left for days, the picture of the mail room with, like, spilled ice cream all over the floor. It's disgusting. Picture of our trash chute where you have to, like, stick your finger in the little metal hole because the handle broke off and it's been like that for like 2 months, and you have to, like, jiggle it and find the latch with your finger. It's ridiculous. And then I said, if you think it's just me, check out the Yelp reviews with more pics. And then I videoed my screen and I went through all those, and that's received a nice 4,000 views. And so yeah, I did that. And so okay, so all that shit with my apartment, when the mismatched carpet and all that, that's like whatevs. But then it became the real issue is now the carpet guy, who was like my buddy, was like, oh, and just so you know, there's mold. And I was like, oh, now everybody's, the wood, I didn't even look, but like the wood all around the frame of the door in that room, rotting so much so you can poke it and your finger will just like go through the wood. Like that's a serious health hazard.
It's a health hazard, yeah.
Yes. So now in with the stress of, current events going on in the world, keeping me up till 5 o'clock in the morning, I have now become an expert in
like a
LA
legal
public.
scholar.
I am a legal scholar. And so don't you know, I looked up every single LA housing code. I got the exact name of the codes, like matched that up to the violations that they have. Yours truly
God.
Called the LA Department of Public Housing, made a claim with them, called the LA Department of LA Health Department, made a report with them. So they are like, this is serious. I'm taking up the ladder. Now, meanwhile, the whole time I've been sending email after email after email, and they don't ever give me like a real person's email address or a phone number. It's just members@common.com. I'm like, that is such a joke. So it goes to like a generic server. And they're on the East Coast. So they don't even, after 2 o'clock, they don't even do anything. So it's like a nightmare. So I've been sending email after email, and they'll be like, and they'll say, we're working on this and we're gathering the information. Then I had meetings scheduled and then they canceled them and then said, we need to talk more and gather more information. So now it's been another 2 weeks. And I'm so excited because finally, I was able to schedule a meeting with somebody who, what I understand now is like a liaison between us, the
it's like
tenants.
a mediator.
Yes. So I go to them. Now, again, we move out in 2 months. That's nothing. What they need to do is they need to do a lot of work on here. They need to move it and what they could do, which might cost them an arm and a leg, is put us in a hotel for a while, take care of the things, and then come back. But then we're just going to move out. So, like, why bother? It seems to make no sense. So I have this meeting this morning. I'm so excited. I'm like, I can't even wait. It was like Christmas. I woke up so early, like, excited to do this. For real.
Okay.
I get on the phone with her, and she says, I understand. Well, at first I was like, should we go over all of the grievances? And she's like, I'm pretty familiar with all the photos you sent and everything like that. I'm like, I bet you are.
I follow you on Twitter.
Yeah, I follow you on Twitter. What, right? Okay, so she tells me, well, what I've been given to offer you guys is what we can do is based on, talking to the property manager. It looks like it'll need to be about a week of repairs, and we'll put you up in a hotel. And I'm thinking, okay. Now, and then she goes, or you can, we will release you of your lease. And I'm like, oh my God, the clouds have parted. Like, this is amazing. My heart's like racing. I'm so excited. I'm like, yes, this is exactly what I want to hear because I just want to be released. And she goes, you would just have to forfeit your deposit.
Oh,
do you know what
releasing you then?
This is the most insulting part, Susie. This is insane. Okay. I just about lost it on her. I was like, all the blood left my body and I started to get shaky and I was like, oh my God, do you know how much our deposit is? She's like, no. I go, it's $8,884. You clearly didn't read the lease because in our lease, it says if we wanted to terminate the lease early, there's a fee, a termination fee of $5,423. So you came back to me with a solution that would cost me almost double what my lease says for terminate. Explain that one to me. So somebody didn't do their homework. And I said, did you read the lease? And she goes, well, no. Did the people higher up? She goes, clearly no, they didn't do their homework. Nobody even, and she was like, oh, that I see this, that this is, she finally got it. I think I got through to somebody. She was nice. And halfway through, I used every single therapy, like all my techniques for like I said, my communication halfway through. And she was being very patient with me. And halfway through, I just stopped her and I said, I just want to say, Thank you. You are such a good listener because thank you. Yes, I did because she was. And I said, I understand you're the middleman here. And I just, and she was like, just as shocked as I was because she clearly didn't have any, look, I'm getting all choked up now. She didn't have any of the information. And then I'm like shaky in my voice, like almost in tears. I'm like, and let me tell you, this is not who, like, I am not somebody who wants to come after people. I do not want to do this. You know who I am? I'm the plant. I said, I'm the one who emailed about the plants. And she was like, oh my God, I remember you. And then we became best friends. Yes. And then we started talking about the plants. We started talking about, she was like, that was so great. She's like now on board. So I'm hoping that some magic comes from this. And when I broke it down for her, I was like, let me explain to you the timeline. So you are telling me that it's going to take us about 2 weeks to prep this room for all those repairs. And then you want to put us in an apartment for a week, maybe more because it's construction. And then we're going to come back and then we're going to be putting in our 30 days and then you're going to have to come back and do more work. That doesn't make sense. And I said, and on top of that, I have become quite proficient in legal stuff. Unfortunately, I've had to do a lot of legal work. I went through a divorce and I got my mom's citizenship in Costa Rica. So I have become an expert in legal stuff. And woo, do I have the energy to do it right now? And am I motivated? So I have the lawyer, I have the paperwork. And I was like, if you want, we can go through each one of these citation numbers and you can bring that to, and she was like, oh, no. I think when they understand, what, and I got all kinds of litigious, and I am hoping, praying. I have to get water because I got dry mouth.
I'm just sorry you're having to deal with that.
I've never, ever in my life had to deal with something like where I felt so. You know what it is, Suze? And you can understand this because I just feel like if you're, and maybe it's if you're a woman, but I also think if you're somebody who in any time like was victimized and didn't get justice or didn't have a voice, or you felt like you didn't have, like,
you're not being believed, or
that's the feeling. That's the thing that's so triggering, is that it is so, I'm fighting against a corporation, which makes me feel powerless. It makes me feel like, I'm like, this is not fair. And there's nothing I hate more than things that are unjust. And, so it is just like become my passion project.
Well, another thing that's unjust, I feel, is fast fashion, which is why I'm so excited about our new partner, American Giant.
Yes. Oh, this is great. Ren's a big fan, and he read the whole entire manual and was like, this is how they should do it.
It is such a great company that makes clothing. They are ethical and sustainable and local, and I just am really encouraged by it because I've really tried to get away from, like, the disposable items.
Yes.
Like, I like to buy fewer things but higher quality.
Yes,
and so I'm so
love
excited.
That about you.
Yeah, like it's just such a great movement, and I'm glad a lot of people are getting on board because we have too much stuff in this
Don't
world.
you feel like this? We've really narrowed down what's important and the things that we don't need a lot of stuff. It's like, give me good quality, give me long lasting, and give me a ethical. Products.
A great mission. Yeah, because they have less pollution, they have ethical working conditions and wages, which I freaking love, and then the high quality products that come to your house you're going to love. I got this really nice black zip-up hoodie.
Oh, me too. We could be twins. We got the same one.
Oh, that's great.
Of course
so
we
nice.
did. And then I got Ren. I had to buy some Ren stuff because he's so like, the black T-shirt guy. And I'm like, if you're going to get a black T-shirt, get one that, like, lasts for forever.
Yeah. And these are, like, USA-based supply chain, 100%, so you know where your stuff is coming from. You guys should check them out. You can get 15% off your first order when you use our promo code, which is Brain Candy, at american-giant.com. That's 15% off when you use code Brain Candy at american-giant.com. What a great company. So excited to be working with them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's
we're
my
just going to
nightmare.
cross our fingers for you?
Yes, we're going to. So hopefully by the end of today that I might know something. Oh my God. So in the next few hours, maybe by our live Q&A, I'll have good info. But
I really hope so.
Yes.
This has gone on too long.
Too long. And Suze, the real exciting thing is that we found a house we love.
To buy?
Not to buy, but to rent. That's in the area that we want to buy in. But the price, I mean, I'm saving like hundreds of dollars off of this. It's so beautiful. And you know, when you I'm sure you've known, you probably know at your house, when you walk into a place and you're like, yep, this is mine. You're like, this is, you get that feeling of like, I'm supposed to be here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was so.
We were talking for ages about buying a house, and we had kind of given up because, like, if you don't find what you really want, it's like, I don't know. And then we found our dream home, and we had to have it.
Susan,
and
your home
when
is
that
the
happens.
best in the world, and it's such a reflection of you.
Like, that's
it's
so nice.
Just like so
what
cool.
Everyone's house should be, right?
Yes, and it should feel like it's, and this is what I was telling her in our very long conversation, and I could tell she was like typing to right there. She was like on it, and she's like making a whole list. And in that time, she's so great. I'm like, this is why I just have to deal with a woman. Because the first time I did, she got it. And I told her that. I was like, we just need more female energy down there, right? I mean, and she agreed. I was like, yeah, we need like 3 more of the maintenance guy. And we need one of them to be like, and I was like telling her, and this is how I see her. Maybe like a former bus driver who like is really strict and means business, but also has compassion and understanding. You know what I mean? And she like, because I'm also trying to talk to give her time to write things down. Like,
yeah.
So
if she comes through for you, you got to give her flowers or something.
Oh, Susan, I'm going to send her a plant. Don't you know it? Because we talked about plants.
right.
We did.
Right.
We talked about that. She said, and I'm going to show her how the plant trimmings are doing fantastic now, and they're like all got roots. And so I'm going to send her for sure. And she even said that she's part of a group because it's in New York City, that goes around and plants trees in New York City. So she cares. I was like, I told her, I'm like, I really see how you are helping me and listening to me and blah, 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 blah. So,
it's like your soulmate.
Well, yeah,
because I feel
so
like
nice.
If
so shout out to
somebody's
Madison.
kind,
she's great.
If somebody's helpful like that and kind, I want to reward it because I feel like it's like Pavlov's dogs. Like you got to give them a reward for it so then they keep doing it or something.
Yeah, for real. And I was like, I mean, I'm like in tears to her, telling her like almost in tears, like controlled emotion. But, I'm telling her like, this is I want to leave the place. Like I'm the tenant who never gets a complaint. I pay on time. I care about like my motto is just like in nature, leave a place better than you found it. Like that's how I've been, and blah, 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 blah. So I think, and so.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
When you were
I
telling your
to
story,
get litigious.
Did I hear you correctly that they did install the wrong, like the brown patch?
Yes.
So you really do have 2 different colored
carpets.
carpets.
Susie.
Why would they
looks
even
cuckoo
want that?
Crazy. Because they know they have to tear the whole thing up anyway.
Oh, okay.
This was to appease me for 2 seconds.
That's ridiculous.
It's a joke. It's like the whole closet has to be taken out. I'm like, I have to clean out a closet. I have a desk that, instead of a desktop, this was a fantastic idea, P.S. Feel free to use this hack that I found on Pinterest. I bought at IKEA a kitchen counter, a wooden kitchen counter that's super long, and then we have the file cabinets from IKEA, and we made a double desk. I have an entire kitchen counter in my. It's like 10 feet long.
This. You have to send
beautiful.
me a picture.
I have
That's
a
really
fucking
cool.
kick-ass office. It is so great. Haven't been able to take any photos of it because it's been in shambles. Everything that was stored in the closet is now out in the middle. I look like a hoarder, and I'm not.
That's awful.
Because everything can't be in that area, and because all the stuff had to be cleared out, so now it's all crammed into the. You may be wondering how come I've never seen Sarah's apartment on her Instagram or anything? Because I can't take photos because it's not camera ready.
Wow.
Yeah,
it really is in shambles still.
Yeah. And I told her,
ridiculous.
I'm like, I host a podcast and I take photos and stuff. I can't. This used to be my studio. I can't. You can't see the floor. It just looks weird. People are like, wait, you live there? And I'm like, yeah, not by choice. But
I don't think I talked about it on the show, but remember how I told you my mom went to buy a car? And it was the first time that she had ever bought a car. And my dad always handled that. And so when she went in, like, she just I can't emphasize this enough. Like, she doesn't know how to be a person. Like, I had to teach her how to write a check and stuff. And
oh my God.
She basically told them, she was like, yeah, I've never done this before. I don't know how this works.
God.
And so when she came over my house with the new car, I was like, how did you do that? Did you negotiate? And she was like, what do you mean?
Oh my God.
And I bring that up just because Adam, my husband, had to go in and like deal with it afterwards and be like, you took advantage of a widow who admitted she didn't know what she was doing.
Good move.
And we have a podcast network, and I really don't think you want us to blow you up online.
Yes.
And that sometimes is the only thing that you can do is threaten, to publicly shame them.
Because that's all they care about. They clearly don't care about the other stuff. And so I just let him know all of the ways that I was going to get, and you don't want to go down this road with me. You really don't.
It's sad when they kind of force your hand like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you think, so they came to me with this first, what a joke. Could you imagine? It'll only cost you your security deposit. What?
Only.
Shouldn't I just stick to the rent? Shouldn't I just stick to what the lease says then? And then just take that? Because it seems like I couldn't believe it. I was just like, wow, you guys didn't do your homework at all, did you? Didn't even look at, do you guys know what my lease says? No. Well, the meeting that we had was titled leasing or options for renewing and getting out of the lease. Mm-hmm. Don't you think one of the key things to investigate, and mind you, the meeting had been postponed a week because she said I need to gather more info. What info? What was the homework? I just couldn't. So, yeah.
After the meeting, did you crack open a can of Huzzah and just try to get refreshed?
Gosh, man, I need it. I need to mix that Huzzah with a little something. Right. Maybe. But thank goodness I'll get the probiotics to at least, I don't know, settle maybe my stomach that's a little upset after all this.
Well, I'm actually drinking one right now. I wish I could show you.
Ooh, what flavor?
Juicy pear.
Oh, it's my favorite one.
Juicy pear in the house.
Favorite.
These are probiotic seltzer drinks, and I haven't bought soda in over a month. I have no need for it.
Congrats.
That's a true story. Thank you. Because I just want to be refreshed. I just want to enjoy the beverage, and thanks to Huzzah, I do. It's I think 15 calories and only 3 grams of sugar or less. And then there's the probiotics, which help with anxiety and health in your gut. And it's healthy for digestion. I just love it. And they have raspberry and lemon, strawberry and hibiscus, juicy pear. You can stock up on Huzzah Probiotic Seltzer by using our code BRAINCANDY for 20% off your order at drinkhuzzah.com. And that's Brain Candy, 20% off at drinkhuzzah.com. You will love it. Try it. Okay. All right, Sarah Louise. I hope you're okay after that trauma.
Now that I have, you know how the universe always manages to line everything up super perfect. And so we went to go, if we do all the timing right, my lease is up March 13th. I'm asking to get out of it a month early, which happens to be February 13th. We found the most beautiful place, like I said. It is available February 12th. What a random day. What a perfect,
all right.
I get and so I was telling my mom, when I went to go see the house, one of the cutest things, I go to the front door. I haven't even walked in the house yet. I go to the front door. There's a little patch of dirt that's right, a little planter box that's right next to the door, filled with what is very clearly a little child's treasures of seashells and my heart was like, this house feels like joy and family. And I told the real estate agent, the listing agent, I was like, oh, look at this. This is a little child's treasures. And she was like, I thought the same thing too. So, me and the leasing agent, we became besties. And then she started following me. So, and maybe she's listening. So shout out to Debbie. Hi, our newest listener. So yeah. Yeah. So she's helping me score this super hot pad with the most amazing
you've been
view.
Deprived of a nest.
Suze, it's 3 bedrooms. It's on a hill, like on the top of a hill, and it slopes all down below. It has a greenhouse and a lemon orchard.
Oh my God.
What? And a beautiful deck that looks out over all of Thousand Oaks, and you can see. It's like and huge high ceilings. And when I went in there, she was like, "Oh, the tenants haven't fully moved out yet. You know what they hadn't gotten? All of their plants, because they're plant people." And I was like, "I'm a plant person. This is so great." And she's like, "Me too." And so so I'm hoping that. I was telling my mom, it just felt like the universe just like all lined up and was like perfectly in sync. And when you're like in the flow and you feel like you're in the right place, things just are easy. Things just start to like click into place. It's like all the gears start turning. And I was describing this to my mom, and she said something that was so beautiful. And she said, "Well, you know what? There's a story about this in the Bible." And I was like, "Okay, tell me." And she was like, "That's the parting of the sea." That's the part when it feels like life just like, yep, everything moves out of the way for you when you are in line, and it moves out of the way and you can just walk right through. And that's what it feels like. Oh, it makes me teary-eyed because I felt so stuck in this place that I'm in, and just the idea of it felt free. It felt like we're so close to getting this fresh start. Like, I just understand everybody who's listening right now, who's like actually doing the right thing and staying at home and being safe and helping to protect other people and keep people safe. Like, your house is your sanctuary. And so I just want to say thank you to everybody who's also locked up in whatever situation. And I know it's so hard right now.
So hard.
So just like, you can always lean on this show and for us for support, because Lord knows we are all in this together. And shit, man, it's hard right now, right?
Well, you really kind of got a really bad raw deal and terrible timing, because you started dating Ren, everything's great, and then you're going to move in together, but then COVID happened.
2 weeks after we moved in.
Yeah, you're just thrown into this weird, solitary, stressful moment.
Yeah.
And it's been terrible, and the company hasn't made it any easier. And then I think about that a lot, how people are in hell right now. A lot of people are suffering.
Yeah,
and it
stuck.
Just is so sad.
It really is. So we just have to have, one of the things that I did say to her while I was on the call is that I understand. Like, I don't take it personal when the people are, when the people I work with at the in the leasing office and downstairs in my building and the property manager are stressed and they, respond in a way that's not nice. I get it. Like, I told her, I'm like, there should be 3 of him. Like, I get that he's stressed and, not so great for him to say, well, that's what you get for doing the patch job. But I don't take it personally. I know that what he's dealing with.
It's not about you.
It's so not about me. And so, like, I feel like we all have to just not take anything personally and just realize everybody needs more than we have to give. And it's just like, it's just tough, I feel like it's important to talk about.
Yeah, and everyone, I think, feels very alone.
Yeah.
Particularly the people that are following the rules and are living the way we should be living.
Yeah.
That can lead to a lot of isolation and sadness.
Yeah. And so, and I found that sometimes, I was talking with my aunt about this, that sometimes it's hard to even reach out to friends that you care about and love so much because, and shout out to all my friends who are listening, you know who you are, because I know that those conversations are so, like, they're the people that I can be the most vulnerable with. And it's hard for me to even go to those vulnerable places right now because it's like, I can't open that box. Will I ever stop crying kind of thing, you know? So we have to just compartmentalize, and it almost feels more isolating. So, when we talked about how to have conversations about everything that's going on in a more productive way that doesn't add to the anxiety of, we just have to stay so mindful of that. But I feel like, your environment matters so much, and So any elements, I always say to Ren, thank God we have beautiful bathtubs because we take our baths and that's how we.
That's like your happy place.
It's our happy place, but. Yes, but enough about this sad, depressing stuff, Who cares? I thought, because aren't we very close to Valentine's Day?
Yes, we are. Not long now.
So I thought, and this was interesting, I read this great article in the BBC about the science of love.
Oh, I love that.
And I thought, okay, and I needed, it was so great because I reread this, right before the show, which was right after this phone call. And it's just a nice reminder of the good in the world and like those good feelings. And I sometimes even feel like reading about love and that, like I'll get the feelings and so it's a nice little refresher. So would you like to know about the science of love? And there was so much I didn't know. Okay. So I didn't know this.
Well,
go ahead.
Should we say, I think you and I both agree in terms of love. We both love Issue.
Yes.
And all the amazing content that you can create easily on Issue.
I love anything that helps make jobs easier.
Yeah, and it allows you to create all the stuff you need to help you as a creator, a marketer, a designer, an educator, or anyone that wants eye-catching content will love Issue because they make it super easy. You just upload your PDFs and files and transform them with your vision, and you can customize the templates and all that to create content, whether you want to put it on a social platform or whatever. And they can even help you make animated Instagram stories, which are so cute.
Ooh, I love
you can start using Issue for free. Get started with Issue today for free. If you sign up for a premium account, you'll get 50% off when you go to issue.com/podcast and use promo code BrainCandy. That's ISSUU.com/podcast and use our promo code BrainCandy at checkout for your free account or 50% off your premium account. That's issue.com/podcast with promo code BrainCandy. All right.
Yes.
Tell me about love.
So, the science of love. I didn't know this. There are 3 phases to falling in love. And in each of those phases, there are different hormones that are involved in each.
All right.
I love this. So, stage 1, can you guess?
Just, like lust?
Yes! Oh my God, you're so good! Yes. Lust is the first stage, driven by sex hormones testosterone and estrogen, but they spelled it weird. Maybe a typo. But driven by testosterone and estrogen, and testosterone is not confined to only men. It's like, we have it too. So
yeah.
Yes. And it basically, these hormones, they get you out looking for anything. They're like the hormones that drive you to go pursue, romantic relationships.
Wow.
Stage 2. Can you guess what stage 2 is?
Gosh.
This is, oh yeah. And then I'm going to ask you what your favorite stage is.
Stage 2.
Yes.
Let me think. I really don't know.
It's
what if I'm still in lust over here?
Right. Well, this one you probably feel more. Attraction. Which you'd think is like lust and attraction.
But it's more like magnetism.
Yes. So it's it's different hormones that run these. So this is like an attraction stage. And they're called monoamines, the transmitters that, work in this. And it's dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin. And so these are like, norepinephrine is adrenaline. So this is like what starts getting you all sweating and this is like the heart racing drug.
Oh.
Yes. And dopamine, we know that just as addictive as, all the good, well, I shouldn't say all the good stuff out there. That's terrible. But, dopamine, that's like all the good feelings. And then serotonin, the most important chemical that like basically creates in the brain, and they go into detail on this, which I'm going to link this article for us because the article also has a test that you can take to find out what type of partner you're attracted to by looking at face perceptions. It's like a face perception.
Like, what do you mean, what kind of partner?
Well, I don't know because I haven't followed through on clicking that link. I'm very excited about it too, and I just discovered that. But
whoa.
Yes, so that's going to be interesting to check out. So I'm definitely going to be linking this article. And then the last stage is attachment. And this is the oxytocin and vasopressin chemicals and all that. And the one that I want to talk about a little more is the vasopressin one, because this is like long-term commitment. This is the one, and we know about this from the cutest study on these things called prairie voles, which are like super frisky, rowdy little rodents. Mm-hmm. Yes, they're very big into like, you know, getting it on, but they're also into long-term pair bonding. And so what they did to study these guys and to see if like this vasopressin, like how it related to bonding and how it related to care, like I guess these male prairie voles are really good at like bonding and taking care of their partners and their babies. So they did something, I don't know, did something to reduce the vasopressin in these guys. They like took it, like suppressed the effects of it. And when they did that, they found that the bonds with the partners went away immediately. They lost their devotion and they failed to protect their partner from new suitors. So that makes me think, like, I wonder if people's, like, what controls, and it didn't say this,
right.
but I want to do more research on what control, like, what affects your levels of vasopressin, because I wonder if, I mean, we know stress is a big one.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, I'm reading a whole bunch of articles out there right now and, you know, seeing things in therapy magazines and stuff like that about how we're all in this kind of, I don't know, like, reactive place right now where we sense danger, like, everywhere. Why? Because there's a lot of danger everywhere. And it shuts down a lot of those things. You know, I kind of imagine it as like your gazelle running from a lion on the, you know, plains of Africa. And you can have the hottest gazelle over there fully in heat, and you ain't going to stop because you're like, I'm not interested in that. I got to stay alive.
Yes.
So, like, we're, like, missing out. And I think, you know, Valentine's Day, we have these expectations of all these love feelings, and it's so important to realize that this is like hormone soup. And if you are feeling like, oh, man, I don't feel this right now, it could just be because there's a lot of stress going on. We got low vasopressin. We got low oxytocin, you know, all that kind of stuff.
It's a real problem when everyone, it's like a collective trauma that everyone's going through right now.
Absolutely.
Like nobody can be cared for because everyone's just trying to survive. It's awful.
Yeah. So we have to really like do that's like self-care and not just like bubble baths, even though that's like good for me. I love that. But like also taking care of like, I saw this amazing Instagram story on from Goalcast, and it was this deaf comedian. Did you see her?
No.
Oh my God, it's so beautiful. She tells this story, and in it she says, take your hand and put it over your chest and put it on your heart. And then she says, this is who you love. This is the person that you have to love the most. This is who you have to take care of. And I felt like we all just need that reminder right now. Like we got to like really be there for ourselves. And like, you know, because if we look for that, you know, even in apartment complexes, they aren't gonna, nobody's there. So we have to like this, what does my heart need right now to feel safe and secure? You know, now I'm thinking all of a sudden of that Maslow's hierarchy of needs thing, you know, that you can't even think about the stuff that's higher up unless you have food, shelter, warmth, you know, sleep, or whatever it is. And so
that's why, I mean, I know it gets old because it always comes back to this, but I really do feel like that's what it's like in a challenge house.
Yes.
You know, because it's survival of a different kind. And everyone's just totally out for self-preservation because it's a game. And that's how it feels now, like in the regular world. And it's really dysfunctional.
Yeah. You know what? In the challenge house, when you said self-preservation in the game, also self-preservation or preservation of their image or what their
identity. Yeah.
Yes, their identity and their role in that house. So whether that's turned up or amplified versions of who they are, or suppressed, you know, other things, like maybe a guy who's really, you know, kind and nurturing, and then he's in that environment and suppresses that and becomes more like, you know,
an animal.
Toxically masculine.
Ew, yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, it's a good thing to explore, but
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, do you think that, like, Valentine's Day will be different this year because of, like, you can't go out to a restaurant, blah, blah, blah?
I think we have to, it's the same thing we were talking about, like, for clothes. Like, we have to, we have to quality, not quantity. Mm-hmm. We have to have a focus on what's really important, what the need is. I think when we're able to verbalize our need to our partner, whatever that may be, they may have based on past Valentine's Days, they may have an understanding of you liking a nice dinner out, but that might not be what you need right now. What you need is, you know what I need? And oh my gosh, ladies who are in heterosexual relationships or gay guys who are dating men, men love very clear instructions. I would say, like, make it like, IKEA catalog, like, instructions. Like, you can't, well, maybe those you can interpret, but whatever is really good instructions that are, like, real simple. Like,
what do you mean? What are we supposed to say?
Like, for example, you know what I need? I need a hug, and I need it to last 6 seconds, and I want it, and for real, I'm not even kidding. I want it that, and you can even be like, I want it at 5 o'clock today. And, oh, okay, yeah, I'd love to do that. One of my favorites that was advice given to me from my old couples therapist, she's like, if you feel, like you're missing some of that validation or attention or, just come up to your partner and real sweet, in that loving voice, I bet you want to tell me 5 things that you love about me and 5 reasons why you want to be with me and nobody else. And they'll be like, yeah, sure, da-da-da-da-da. And it'll feel so good, and they'll be, like, willing to do it. And they might even say, oh, my God, tell me 5 things about me. And then there'll be things you wouldn't even think about. It always, I mean, I don't think I've ever had a situation where I've given that advice and they've come back and been like, well, that didn't go well. It always is like, wow, I can't even believe what he said. And then we ended up having sex. And I'm like, yeah, there you go. So...
All right, that's a good tip.
Yeah, so really, like, but identify what the need is first, like, and really, like, take some time to, like, dig deeper. So if you say, I just want, like, a fancy dinner out, well, why? What is it about that fancy? Well, I like getting dressed up and I like feeling special. Well, okay, how can you take those same elements and apply that and tell him and be very specific, I want to get dressed up and have a dinner on not paper plates at our kitchen with a tablecloth and napkins and music and no TV on. Okay, great. We can do that. Yeah.
Right. Do you think that a lot of women resist that because they don't want to have to say what they want?
And it creates what's called a double bind, where they're damned if they do and damned if they do. So if they don't do it, then, oh, you failed me. But if I tell them and then they do it, it's, oh, you did it just because I said that. That isn't fair. That's like, we have to, they just tell them. They're like, yeah, sure, I want to do that for you.
Okay.
And it will, and you create a pattern. You create of like, this is what I like, and then, yeah, it's all good.
We were having this conversation with my friend Cassie. She was talking about how, excuse me, her husband always gets her a card for Christmas. And I'm like, oh, that's so nice. Like, I don't know a lot of couples that still get each other like a card with the gift for Christmas. And he's like, well, she insisted when we were dating that she always wanted a card. And she's like, I did?
Yeah.
And
she said I did.
Yeah, she goes, I uninsist. You don't have to do that anymore.
Oh, my God.
So I guess it was just for that time period, but he thought it was forever because she didn't say the 6 second thing.
This is what happens. There's a story that was in a book written by the therapist that I model my practice after, or my style of therapy after, Virginia Satir, and she talks about this story with, she calls it the spinach story, where this couple came in to see her, and they've been married for like 40 years, and they've been together. And, they after a while, I don't know what it came about, but he just said, and you know what? I hate spinach. And she was like, what? What do you mean you hate spinach? I thought you loved it. You said way back when you loved this. He goes, no, I just said I loved it because I thought you really cared and I wanted to make you feel good. And she goes, I I hate spinach. And they both hate spinach. They've been eating spinach for 40 years. And it was just like, so do we have a spinach situation where this is just hasn't been, and everything, we're like doing mind reading and we're being like, oh, is this what they meant to? No, just like lay it all out on the table. Be like, and I know a lot of couples that do the Christmas card, like and I was definitely like that with my ex, not with Ren, because I feel like, it's different ways how they show. If you have a guy who, and how you receive love. If you like those words of affirmation and that feels really good, then get your cards. Mm-hmm. To me, I'm like, at Christmas time, I have to have a stocking. That's a non-negotiable.
Oh yeah, you love a stocking.
I'm like, I don't even care if you give me anything else. Just give me a stocking with some fun stuff in it. I don't know.
That's so cute.
Yes.
Well, those are good tips because I think Valentine's Day is a real treacherous thing for a lot of couples.
Yeah. So just like I say, the best expectations are no expectations. And so
that's so hard to do when everyone's putting them on social, and it's hard not to because marketers really ramp up stuff about holidays.
Yeah, but just like, I don't know. Ignore them.
Set the bar low.
Set the bar low. Be really open with your partner about what you want. And, like, I always think, I'm like, even when it was Valentine's Day, when we were able to go, like, out and, like, make reservations places, I was like, the idea of paying, like, twice as much on that, it's a day. It's like, what's different about February 14th and February 15th? Mm-hmm. It really nothing. Your expression of love means just as much on the 13th and 15th as it does on the 14th. We're good.
All right. So I know we usually do a cool down or wind down or whatever, but okay. Well, first of all, let me just say, I thought you were right about sharing.
I love any sentence that starts like that. So I'm already all ears.
What do they call it whenever it's like a lost episode or like the lost weekend or something?
Like from the archives. Like the lost footage.
You've been itching to have people listen to our original interview, which we did for my first podcast, The Meisterpiece. You were one of my guests. And I interviewed you. But okay, well, so that brought me down memory lane. Something that is helpful with memory lane is when you digitize your memories. Thanks to Legacy Box, we can now do that very easily.
This is the best. And I mean, I had time during this whole, at home to go through all those photos, find them all, put them in the box. There you go. All digitized. All your memories right there.
And now
my mom's school videos from the 70s.
Oh my God. Now those, I would like a copy of Legacy Box if you could send me those. But like any aging home movies, photos, film reels, anything like that, you can send to Legacy Box and they'll digitize. Then you can enjoy them and post them on social if you're so inclined. So it's like the perfect time of year to get organized, and Legacy Box can help you do that. Go to legacybox.com/brain to take advantage of this limited time offer and get 50% off. This exclusive offer won't last long, so order the kit now and send it in whenever you're ready. Go to legacybox.com/brain and save 50% while supplies last. Okay, so Sarah wanted you guys to hear this interview that I did with her. Like, I don't know, 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, it was so long ago. I can remember it like it was. I remember laughing so hard.
What did we talk about, though?
I remember what it was that made me laugh so hard that we were dying about was what happens with the everybody tries to use the chair pads on the outdoor chairs, the lounge chairs. They inevitably try to use them as pool flotation devices, and then they always get waterlogged and sink to the bottom. And seeing like a petite girl in a bikini try to fish one of those things out is so funny. I'm telling you, it's one of the funniest things you'll ever see. And I just have so much joy when I think back on those memories, and even the memory of us reliving those memories.
It's very meta. Well, it is. And so Adam found the hard drive on which these interviews live, and I'm like, oh boy, we are going to have to start posting these on our Patreon. So I thought to entice people to dive into our Patreon, We could post a clip of it, and then the rest can go on. It's patreon.com/braincandy, and that's where, like, all of our reality TV content lives.
Yes.
And this really, you paved the way, Sarah, for all the other interviews.
Yeah.
I mean, you really did.
I believe that's where we came up with the what's in your trunk.
Yeah, you did.
Wow.
That was all you.
Oh gosh, thanks. I mean, I feel like this is like a duo. So it's like a, what do they call that? Like a collaborative, like a brainstorming session. Like it's a.
I wonder, like, who even knows what could have happened during the interview where it would even be relevant what was in your trunk? But we did talk about that, and that was the genesis of that.
And it makes
theory.
sense.
It has held up all these years.
It really has. I mean,
what's in your trunk now?
I am so glad you asked me that question. Suze, this should tell you a lot about where I am. I still have we have not even officially moved 100% of our stuff in. I still have boxes because I have no room in storage, no room in my house to put anything, in this apartment to put anything. So I just rotate things out. Like I have the Christmas boxes that don't have a home now because the other stuff that was in my trunk before is now where the Christmas boxes were. So my trunk is currently full of camping equipment, Christmas stuff, definitely Amazon returns that have long since been forgotten in the trunk of my car. And because I don't drive anywhere, I mean, I don't even know if that thing will start right now.
It's one of those ones that dies.
It's basically a storage unit that I pay for way too much for monthly.
Oh my God, you're like homeless. This is awful.
Yeah, I'm homeless with
what do they call that?
With a
home insecure.
I'm housing insecure. Yeah, with an apartment, but also with that. Yes.
Wow, that does hold up. We'll have to listen and hear what you had in your trunk back then.
Yeah, ask me again in like 3 months. Oh, for sure. It was probably like I'm ready for anything. Like I'm going to go to I was probably so optimistic, and now I'm just like whatever. I don't know. Food from a million years ago. I don't know.
God. Okay. Well, you guys have to listen and find out. And if you want more of our interviews, go to patreon.com/braincandy. We have hundreds of interviews with reality people.
Hundreds, guys. People keep asking, they're like, hey, you should do an interview with so-and-so. And we're like, did it.
We did it.
So we've been there, done that. Check them out. They're so good. I'm telling you, nobody is a better interview than my gal Suze. And she gets everybody just like telling,
I'm like
telling
Barbara
it all.
Walters. I make
you
people
really
cry.
minus the accent or speech and vote. Yes.
Yeah, so Sarah paved the way, and now you guys get to hear it. So enjoy, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. So basically, Sarah, you are the inaugural guest on the Meister piece, and I don't know if you can handle it.
When you put it like that, I don't know if I can either.
It's a lot of pressure. I mean, there's going to be 3, maybe 4 people listening. Basically, everyone that is going to be listening is going to want to know all the scoop on your challenge life. So that's what I want to talk about. Tell me how many you've done. Are you okay?
Oh my God. How many have I done? Way too many, right?
What's the hard numbers?
Well, we're looking at 6 challenges and 1 season in the real world, which would be 7 shows.
That's sick.
It's disgusting.
Well, and weren't they all in a row?
In a row. Like I'm sure people are wondering, doesn't this girl have anything better to do with her time?
And the answer is no.
And the answer is not really. I mean, listen, I maintain a very full lifestyle, whatever. But when they offer me a free trip and I love to travel, and then I get the opportunity to do things that are awesome, and you know how competitive I am, Susie Meister.
I do.
And I just love to kick people's ass. So why would I say no to that?
I do understand what you're saying, but this is
also the only time in my life where I have health insurance. So.
Wait a minute. They give health insurance?
Well, if I get injured on there and I go to the hospital, they pay for it.
That's a good point.
Because I enjoy doing adrenaline pumping activities. So when I do those at home, there's always that fear of, oh God, if I fall and break my leg hula hooping again, then I'll have to pay $4,000 for the surgery to have metal pins put in my foot. But if I'm on the show and I jump off of a bridge and I hurt myself, then they pay for it. So it's like, okay, let's do this shit.
Has the public already heard about your hula hoop problem?
There were pictures posted on Twitter of my X-rays, but I don't know if the story was fully revealed or laid out, I guess.
Well, I'm all ears, and I got nothing but time.
So, upon returning from the Cutthroat Challenge, after doing a lot of badass things and jumping off of really high places, I was in my competitive show-off mode and hanging out with a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old. Probably, this is not a lie. And I was hula hooping, and I'm like, oh, yeah, well, look at this move. And I did the old skip it, like skip it around your foot thing, you know, like that old skip it.
Oh, I know, like skip it.
Something. I was skip it. I love that thing.
I think I got to skip it when I got baptized when I was like 10.
No, they were great with the counter on it, and then I always had the counter that broke. And then I was like, look at how many I did, and I looked at it for like 4, and I'm like, no way, I've been doing this shit for an hour. I hated that. But anyways, so I was doing that, and I rolled over my foot, and I broke my foot into like 10 pieces, and had to have a cast. And well, actually, at first they didn't put it. This is funny. At first, I just had surgery, and they put like pins there to hold everything together, and I didn't have a cast. But then my doctor told me that I and my boyfriend at the time decided that I wasn't responsible enough to go around without a cast because I kept on trying to walk everywhere, and then I would bump into things, and then thought I would break it even more. So they put me in a cast.
I think that was a fair assessment on their part about your ability to assess danger.
It absolutely was. It was. After like the 5th time, when I was done, my left leg, because I broke my right, my left leg was so strong because I just hopped everywhere. But
well,
it was kind of funny.
I had never thought about this health insurance scenario, so maybe we could all take.
I got it. I'm getting I am in the process of getting it.
I feel like all of us real world road rulers should take up a collection and like get you some health insurance. That's so sick.
Well, now that I'm going to be a yoga instructor in 6 more weeks, I have my professional yoga instructor insurance with that.
How's that going?
It's awesome. So, people out there, Yoga by Sarah in 6 more weeks.
So I have to stay on topic because I'll lose you real fast. Okay.
You will. You know me. You know me better than anyone almost about this.
What I want to know is like, see, here's the thing. When people come up to me, at least, that recognize me or want to talk about the show, they always want to talk about how fun. They're like, wasn't that so fun? And I'm always like, let me tell you, it is not fun. But you seem to be under the impression that it is.
I know. It's like I'm being pumped some other kind of like fun laughing gas that nobody else was getting the whole time that I'm there.
What is it that you like about it aside from the competition? Like, I mean, I'm talking about the living environment.
You know, this is it. I think a lot of it is when I'm at home, here are the things that annoy me the most, Susie. People call. I can't say it with a straight face, but it's really true. Here are the things that annoy me the most.
Okay.
People calling me, having to respond to email. Any kind of obligation to go anywhere, do something at a specific time,
like a schedule, right?
Yeah. So, when I'm on a challenge and nobody can call me for 2 months, and, oh, I'm sorry, I can't return your email because I don't have a computer for 2 months.
Right.
And I'm sorry that I didn't send you a witty Facebook message on your, baptism of your second child.
So you're off the hook.
This makes me sound terrible, but these are just because sometimes I get caught up in smelling the roses. And anybody who's met me or hung out with me for a little while can probably attest to that. But
here's the thing, Sarah.
It's just that I'm too busy in the moment.
Yeah, but the thing about smelling the roses on a challenge is it does not smell like roses. And it is disgusting. Like, people think we live in this beautiful house and it's just so...
That's the biggest joke. That's the biggest joke. That's the funniest part is when people go, oh my God, look at that house. Or when TJ goes, go back to your villa. And I'm like, oh, villa. It's beautiful for about 5.5 seconds.
Right. And then what happens?
Total destruction. Okay.
Destruction.
Oh, I don't even know. It's so difficult to describe.
Well, even the wooden...
I didn't have the college experience, but I can only imagine what a frat house looks like.
Yeah. And
what the toilet not like
Lord.
The fraternities who do good things and volunteer on the weekends. Not those guys. Right. I'm talking about the other ones. I'm talking about the ones that might get shut down for date rape later. I got those friends. That kind of bathroom.
Right.
So that is probably the closest to what our bathrooms would look like. And
we would come back from one of the challenges and we'd have been in the sun with sand all over us, and they'd be like, oh, by the way, your plumbing doesn't work today.
Oh yeah. Oh, and the turkey house. The turkey house did not even have any hot water the whole time we were there. And I don't want to be like, nose up in the air, but when you just finished oil wrestling in canola oil and you smell like a salad, you'd like a little hot water. And so, let me tell you, it doesn't work as well with icy cold coming straight from the tap. It was so bad. I was the dirtiest kid out there. People probably think I'm way more of a hippie than I really am because I was doing yoga the whole time I was out there, and the whole time I maybe showered 3 times because I hate cold water. So I was like, pool it is.
Well, and
I'm going to be the dirty hippie.
When you, there's always a pool area, and they usually start with a few really nice wooden lounge chairs. By the end, but seriously, by week 2, those are kindling. I don't know what happens because I'm in bed, but something goes on where they end up in the pool or ripped to shreds.
Everyone will have only one working wheel left.
I can't take it.
I can't. It's too funny because when I think back to every single challenge house that I've ever been in, which is a lot, that's absolutely true. Every single house. Cutthroat, yes. Because we didn't even have a pool. We just had a spa. And we still went through about 4 chaise lounges.
Please, I can't take it.
It's too funny.
I don't know why they are the worst hit by it. Oh my God, my stomach hurts already. And see, now this is what happens. You're so great that I could get tricked after this phone call into thinking, boy, I'd really love to do another one of those because that was so fun. But it wasn't.
But I want to get back to the chair.
Go ahead.
A real quick touch on the foam mat. Whatever foam mat is on the top is going to be the most absorbent material possible. Sink to the bottom corner of the pool. And then you're going to watch every girl try to drag it out. And then lay on and then give up halfway through and just use a towel. I've seen it 1,000 times and it's so funny in my head.